We're in Santa Barbara today and are going to go on a 3-part bike ride. Part 1 is going to be from the Upper East Side, along the East Side down to the beach. Part 2 is along East Beach to Stearns Wharf. Part 3 is from Stearns Wharf back up through downtown, back to the motel. We're joining our video on Anapamu Street. We're going to head along the north side of the high school over to Milpas, and then we're going to take Milpas all the way down to the beach. Let's just look at part 1. Part 1 starts at our motel on the Upper East Side. We're going to go across Anapamu Street and get Milpas and take Milpas all the way down to the East Beach and ride for a little ways along East Beach. Anapamu was always an easy way for me to get out of town without having to go through downtown when I lived in Santa Barbara. Here we're going to be just rounding the corner and getting onto Milpas Street now and continuing our way down to the beach. Upper Milpas Street is mostly a residential area. As you continue down Milpas Street, you will come to the business area. The business area continues all the way down to the freeway, and when you get close to the freeway, there's a roundabout, and as you go through the roundabout, you know you're getting close to the beach. So after going through the tunnel, you start to see the palm trees at the end of Milpas, and now you know you're coming to the beach. We made a left turn and we're heading over to the end of East Beach. Most of this part of the ride was done in the street. Once we got to a parking area, we got into the parking area. We crossed a little bridge here. As we crossed the bridge, we were just about to the end of our ride. So as we come out here, we'll be stopping shortly. Lots of volleyball courts down here. I was just looking for a place to park my bike and take some shots. So this is basically the end of part 1 of our bike ride. We're going to be parking at this table for a little while. East Beach Park is at the very extreme east side of the beaches that you can walk on in Santa Barbara. There are lots of volleyball courts here, and it's a great place to watch people just enjoying volleyball. We're looking to the east here, down towards Carpinteria. This is also as far east as you can walk along the beach, along Cabrillo Boulevard. We're looking west now, towards Stearns Wharf. We're going to take the beach trail and go all the way to Stearns Wharf and out onto the pier. We parked the Brompton and took a few pictures before we started our ride. When we get onto the bike, we will be starting part 2 of our bike ride. Part 2 of the bike ride was along the beach and out onto Stearns Wharf. This was the prettiest part of our ride. The distance was probably a half a mile, and it only took about 10 to 15 minutes. But it sure is nice riding along the beach in Santa Barbara. I can't tell you how nice. Part 2 of the bike ride was along the beach and out onto Stearns Wharf. This was the prettiest part of our ride. The distance was probably a half a mile, and it only took about 10 to 15 minutes. But it sure is nice riding along the beach in Santa Barbara. I can't tell you how nice. We're starting part 2 of our ride now. The remainder of part 2 will be recorded music until we get to the end of Stearns Wharf.
I've drifted through these leaves, still wet with rain. Oh, guess now has faded. The sun inside the rain. I remember one Sunday riding in through the gate, 3 balloons in a white sky, 1978. Playgrounds where we spend our days, return within our dreams. What it isn't up to me. I've been driving in my car to see the fading day, and my life is slipping.
This was the end of part 2 of our ride, and here we're getting ready to start back on part 3 and go back to our motel and go through downtown Santa Barbara. Part 3 takes us from Stearns Wharf through Lower State Street, through downtown Santa Barbara, and back to our motel, which was almost at Mission Street on the Upper East Side. We start part 3 of our bike ride leaving Stearns Wharf. When we get off the wharf, we will be on Lower State Street. We're on Lower State Street now, heading toward the freeway. This part of State Street has mostly restaurants and hotels. Once we go under the freeway, then we get into the main part of Santa Barbara. We are now in the main part of Santa Barbara, heading up toward State Street. State Street is full of all sorts of interesting shops. Guys, if you come here with your wife, you better just figure that the day is lost. There's a lot of restaurants. You can get lost in the stores. You should just plan of making a day walking up and down both sides of State Street. I used to live in Santa Barbara, and I always liked coming downtown. The traffic gets a little heavy, but you just get used to it. But if you're visiting here, that's just part of the visit. As you can see, it's one lane in each direction. This was taken at rush hour. There's a lot of business people down here, but most of the businesses are tourist oriented. There's an art museum down here. It's just a nice place to walk. There's all kinds of different stores, clothing stores, curio stores. Every now and then there's a bookshop. You can just have a great day walking up and down the street here. The weather is always nice. We're getting out of the main part of downtown now, and we're getting close back to my motel. We've reached the motel, so I hope you have enjoyed my ride around Santa Barbara.